What a moment at last to stand here with you. I really can feel the power in the air. It is so important to meet. Dear sisters and brothers, no matter how we count or which research we refer to, Nordic perpetrators are extremely active, they are many, and they are dangerous. They have forced thousands of women and their children to disappear from the surface of the earth, to hide their identity, isolated from their friends and relatives, often for a long time. No one seems to have the overview of how many they are. To go underground like that, women need approval from authorities who have to agree that living in the daylight is unbearable for them and that the states are unable to protect them. In 2010, more than 13,000 Nordic perpetrators made women and children become refugees in their own home countries, in the Nordic, the paradise of gender equality. They fled to some of the 266 women's shelters run by the Nordic Shelter Movement. Nordic perpetrators spent every year more than 350,000 nights alone because their families are on the run. The Nordic, as the rest of the world, is paralyzed when it comes to violent men. It can be admitted by everyone involved that they can be a life-threatening danger to those they should love, but instead of stopping them, endless effort is made to save those they might hurt, hiding them and teaching them how to avoid violence. This is amazing when we think of how we react to other threats in our societies. The logistic way of reacting to a danger is to remove it or make it harmless, not to run away from it. There's a huge resistance to take action against perpetrators. My sisters, I have never understood how perpetrators got such a power. How did they get so untouchable? Why is it accepted? In a perfect world, we would close down the women's shelters and use all our strength and energy to go after them and stop them. We need to go from being reactive. We need to go from being reactive to become proactive. Men's violence against women is the biggest shame in our welfare states. Our justice system is based on the ideology that people are innocent until otherwise proven. To prove gender-based violence is extremely difficult. In Iceland, we know about more than 300 rapes every year, but on average, we can count the sentences on the fingers of one Icelandic woman. If everyone is innocent until they have been sentenced for crime, what does that make of all the women seeking help, speaking out about the violence, reporting it? What do we call it when innocent people are accused of serious crimes? We call it lies. We need to adjust the way we formulate ourselves when we talk about justice. Those who are not sentenced for violence are not proven guilty, but they are not proven innocent either. We need to say it out loud and we need to emphasize it. Otherwise, we almost make women criminal when they talk about their experiences. I think all of us can recall endless of times sitting at our kitchen tables, whining about the injustice of the world, filled with anger, frustration, worries, and powerlessness over brutal violence. The rape culture, the gender pay gap, the paralyzed justice system. Most often we leave it like that and go on with our everyday life. The magic, sisters, happens when we manage to take it further, when we realize that nothing will probably change while we sit and wait, when we understand that we, as anyone else, can take action. We can be the doers. Otherwise, we too are responsible for status quo. We know that everything ever done was not enough to eliminate men's violence against women. And therefore, we need to realize that to make the world better and bring about justice, more needs to be done, and it needs to be done differently. Such a magic happened about 100 years ago when the suffragettes thought it was about time that women got the right to vote. They certainly were not the most popular of women. They were radical feminists, they were doers and determined not to give up, and they were put in jail. They went on hunger strikes, but in the end they succeeded. I sometimes wonder where we would be now without them. The women's strike, yeah, clap for them. We should always be clapping for the suffragettes. The women's strikes in Iceland is another example of what women can do if they network and instead of just complain, claim their rights. In Iceland in 2010, women had a strike for the last time. We have 2/3 of men's total salaries. The average working day is from 9 to 5 o'clock. That means in a country where people are supposed to have equal salary, women have done their share at 14:25. After that, we are doing voluntary work every single working day. And why should we? On October 25th, in a huge storm and -10 degrees, women decided to do their share and then at 14:25 leave work and gather in the center of Reykjavik. We demanded equal pay and a society free of violence. In our micro community, 50,000 women showed up. What a power! You might ask, and what for? Did we close the pay gap? No, we didn't. Did we end violence? No, we didn't either do that. But we confirmed the solidarity amongst us. We confirmed that the burning issues that unite us are the pay gap and our desire to live in peace without violence. We confirmed that when we are many, we are capable of claiming our rights. I feel the urge to solve our problems, to find solutions. We need provocating women, activists, academics, democrats, a lively grassroots, some fun and a real movement. If we so much as blink an eye on the watch out, a screaming silence takes over. A creative way to work is to be in touch with our feelings of justice. We have often reason to become furious and worried. It's okay, it's logistic, but just don't stop there. We need to turn our anger into actions. You know, we always have a choice between the role of the victim and empowerment. I learned it when I was a little girl. I learned it from another little girl from Sweden. She lived a horrible life. She was neglected and abandoned. She didn't attend school and she lived alone. Luckily, it never crossed her mind that she might be in the role of a victim. The name of this little red-haired girl was Pippi Langström. Pippi Langström was not bothered by traditions or the strict rules that we too often thoughtlessly follow. She invented her own rules, her own style, her own ways of living. What a role model for us. Dear sisters, I felt I should tell you how to end violence, but I can't. I don't know how. Anything ever done was not enough. More needs to be done, and it has to be done differently. I know that men's violence against us women is a burning issue for the thousands of us that found the way to Malmö. A wild, strong women's movement is the sharpest and best tool I know to promote change. Let's strengthen our networks. Let's join forces. Let's learn from each other. Let's empower each other. Let's have some fun. That's the best we can do. Thank you.